No.
Tigers. Fight, Tigers, fight, Tigers, fight. Mike, it's not even a top 1,000 moment all time.
Okay, Tommy, shut the hell up, man.
Mike! Of course, I'm gonna go with the right answer. It's Ryan Eads of the Baltimore Orioles. He's only wore the number 80 for 8 games. He's only one of 2 players.
You know what? No, I'm not gonna take this. Welcome back to Go Chat. We are back with episode 115, 115, coming at you from the 315. We got a great episode ahead of us. A lot to indulge in, a lot of football coming down to the end of the season, week 18 ahead of us. But if you're not subscribed, smash that subscribe button, follow us on all our socials, join the journey as we try to gain subscribers and become famous here. We got a great episode. Like I said, go to Minnesota. We've been traveling through Michigan. We've been traveling through Massachusetts. Now we make our way to Minnesota, where there are multiple professional sports teams. Connor, I'm going to start with you. Tommy requested to be third, so I'm going to start with you, Connor. Who are you going with?
I'm going to go with someone on the Vikings. However, this is his first year on the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to go with Patrick Peterson. He's had a really good career, 8-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, is on the Hall of Fame, all 2010s team. He has 28 career interceptions. He's returned 4 punt returns for a touchdown. He's a returner really early on in his day. Only 4 career sacks, but he was a great cornerback for the Arizona Cardinals, from 2011 right up until 2020 last year. He doesn't have an interception this year. It's his only season without an interception. Maybe he'll grab one either in week 18. I think they're eliminated from the playoffs now, so maybe he'll grab one in week 18. He's been so consistent, from 2011 right up to 2018. He's played in every single game, played in every game in 2020. He's only missed, like 8 games throughout the entirety of his career. So, he has been so good, so consistent all throughout his career. Patrick Peterson, first year in Minnesota, but I think he deserves this award.
Yeah, Packers eliminated the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday night. Mike, I'm going to go with you.
Yeah, Patrick Peterson has had a phenomenal career, but this is his first season in Minnesota, and his career is kind of winding down. So I'm not going to go with him. I am going to go with the long tenured Minnesota Viking, Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith came in the league in 2012. He has 6 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro, and he really, over this past decade, he has been one of the best safeties in the whole game. Obviously, you could throw Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor out there and stuff like that, but Harrison Smith is really that top echelon of safety, and he still is today. You could just look at his production from this season, really look at how he affects that Minnesota defense, leading them in all that stuff, right? So he's really good in the back end. He can drop down into the box and make some big hits. It's got to be Harrison Smith for me.
Not a bad shout from either of you guys. Tommy, you heard their picks. We're curious where you're going to go with.
Yeah, I've been curious too up until a couple minutes ago. I'm going to go with Karl Anthony Towns. I think we're going to switch sports over to basketball with the Timberwolves. And, he's earlier on in his career than some of the players that were mentioned today, drafted back in 2015. But he did win the Rookie of the Year that year. He's a 2-time All-Star, 2017, 2018 All-NBA team. And, he's put together a really solid career there. And now the Timberwolves are owned by Alex Rodriguez. So how could I not? I know Connor hates it, but how could I not go with that connection? But no, he is a great player. So got to go with Karl Anthony Towns for go to Minnesota.
Tommy always finds a way to, if it's not a baseball player, he finds a way to make it about baseball. And he's not a bad shout either. I'm going to stick with basketball, but I'm actually going to go to the Minnesota Lynx and go with Maya Moore here. You have to look at her resume that she's been able to put up. 2014 MVP, 6-time All-Star. And you look at what she's been able to do with Minnesota. She hasn't played in 2 years, still on the roster, so I count it. You can talk about her work off the court too. And her teams just made the playoffs consistently. Minnesota's made in 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. So all of those years in a row while she's playing. She hasn't actually missed the playoffs then. Wow. Shocking. Maya Moore is going to have to be my pick here. That's why I kind of kept it on the low. I wanted to see if any of you guys would figure that out.
Yeah, Matt, that's a great pick. And not only is she phenomenal on the court, but off the court, she hasn't played for 2 years because she was working to help get that. I don't remember his name, but
Jonathan Irons.
Yeah, he was wrongfully convicted in the state of Minnesota, and she helped him get out of jail. So that's why she hasn't played for 2 years. Hopefully, she'll return.
And they're now married.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's really one of those
Storybook endings.
Yeah, storybook endings. There you go. So that's an awesome pick, Matt. I didn't even think about that. Didn't even pop in my head.
Yeah, not a bad shout from either of you guys. Minnesota's got young studs like Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, even Alexander Madison. Maybe he won't be at Minnesota Vikings too much sooner, but he is a pretty good running back. Any final thoughts before we head into our topic today?
Excited to get it going.
All right, there we go. No baseball player was named. And we will go head into our next topic coming up after the break. Welcome back to Go Chat. We are back with some NFL talk. Like I said, we're heading into week 18. We got 3 spots open, 1 in the NFC and 2 in the AFC. A lot of different scenarios that could be going down. But for the AFC, the teams in contention, we got the Colts, got the Steelers, got the Ravens. That would be difficult for them. And we got, did I say the Raiders or Chargers yet? We got those 5 teams in contention. Now for the NFC, it's pretty much smaller. We got in contention the 49ers and the Saints. So we'll start with the NFC. It's much easier. Pretty much what needs to happen is the Saints, if they want to get in, they need a San Francisco loss to the Rams, and they need to beat the Falcons. What the 49ers need is either a loss from both teams, or they would need to beat the Rams, and the Saints would have to lose to the Falcons. Now, or actually, no, all they have to do is win. All they have to do is win, because if the Saints, so if the Saints win and the 49ers win, they still get in. I mean, we got two teams pushing for the playoffs, 2 different games, Saints, Falcons, Rams, 49ers, 2 games to have to watch next Sunday. Who do you guys think is going to make it into the NFC on that last spot to clinch? Obviously, the Eagles clinched due to the Packers beating the Vikings. And of course, the Cardinals/Rams clinched the other wild card spot.
I want to talk about the Eagles for just a second. I remember on our radio show this past semester.
Mike laughed.
Mike laughed when Matt, your brother, said that they were going to turn around, get up to like 6-6 or whatever, and then make the playoffs. And Mike goes, I don't think so. And then he chuckled a little bit. And now they're in the playoffs, Mike.
That is true, but they've gotten the job done. They've beaten teams when they need to, and props them for getting into the playoffs. I think they're going to be a first round exit, but props to Sirianni for making some adjustments mid-season, going more run heavy.
All right, now Mike, we've got. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
I mean, Jalen's a good quarterback.
Jalen is
I agree.
Throwing the ball, he's not that good, but he's a really good game manager.
I would say he's a good game manager.
Yeah, like he proved me wrong. I honestly thought the Eagles were going to be like the last place because I didn't think Jalen was going to play good, but Jalen has played phenomenal.
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni deserves to be in the running for Coach of the Year as well. Like Mike said,
got taken out by the Washington football team's
bleachers
there the other day.
He was a man of the people. He got the pictures, signed the autographs.
I read somewhere that he was quote unquote offered more help than the Washington football team staff that was there, like to the fans that had fallen.
Oh,
according to them, they had said that he offered more help than any like the personnel of the stadium.
He's a man of Philadelphia.
That stadium is terrible. It's absolutely awful. But yeah, Jalen Hurts has been really good. Really, my doubts with the Eagles before the season weren't necessarily with him, were with the rest of the team and the coaching staff in question. But they've proved us wrong. But anyways, I think we should get into, we're already talking about the NFC. Let's talk about the NFC. Do the 49ers beat the Rams and get in? Or do they lose and the Saints win and then the Saints will get in for that 7 seed? Matt, you've been talking a lot. You've been bringing us into the segments. What do you think?
I mean, I honestly, if you had to tell me who's the better team, I would 100% say the 49ers by like a long shot. But the scenario that they're in, the 49ers lost to the Titans hurt them so much because I think they're going to miss the playoffs. I don't really think they're going to beat the Rams. Now, I will say that Shanahan kind of owns McVay based on their head-to-head record and the past few years. The 49ers have just dominated the Rams, but I just think the Rams are going to win this game. The Rams really want to win this game because they're going to be the 2 seed if they win. And as the 2 seed, they'd be playing the Saints, most likely if the Saints beat the Falcons, which I think is going to happen. And I think playing the Saints would be the best case scenario in the NFC. And I think that they would just demolish the crap out of the Saints. Yeah, I don't think the Saints are a bad team. I just don't think the Saints are, compared to the other NFC teams. I would even say the Eagles are much better than the Saints. But yeah, I think Saints are going to win. Sucks for the 49ers fans, but that's just how the schedule is going to go.
Connor, what do you think?
I'm going to agree with Matt. I think San Francisco is undoubtedly, the better team between the two. New Orleans has run out 5 different quarterbacks, right? Jameis, Trevor Siemian, Taysom Hill, Ian Book.
4, actually.
4.
Blake Bortles, he didn't play any games, but he was in the contention.
I think the Rams are going to play with a chip on their shoulder. I think they're going to try to get Cooper Kupp that receiving record. He's only got like 130 yards. And I mean, that's at this point, that's easy for Cooper Kupp to do. So, I think he's going to go out there and try to get it done, and then maybe they'll bench him. I just think that they're going to be playing, as Matt said, they're playing for the number 2 spot. San Francisco's the better team. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely think they're a better team. They have the harder matchup in week 7 or week 18, rather. I think New Orleans is going to find a way to get in there. They don't deserve it. They'll be a first round exit to the Rams, I guess. If the Rams were to win, they'd be a first round exit, but I think New Orleans will find their way in.
They also are going, I'll just say they're also going for division, which is kind of huge because that 4-5 is going to be a shootout game.
Right.
100%. You really don't want to be that 4 or that 5 seed. But Tommy, do the Niners win and get in, or do the Saints take advantage of a 49ers loss?
I say the Saints are going to take advantage. I'd have to agree with what Matt and Connor said. I just think the matchup's too difficult. I mean, with the Rams taking on the 49ers, I think the Rams will come away with the win. And, I think that New Orleans is, going to beat Atlanta. But Atlanta was in that game against the Bills up until halftime, right? And then the Bills kind of pulled away. But, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. But to me, I see the Saints getting in this one.
How about Matt Ryan showing a little bit of like competitive edge there towards the end of that second half or the end of that first half? He ran that touchdown and obviously was marked down at the 1 yard line, got up and kind of got right into Michael Poyer's face, spiked the ball at him a little bit.
You know what? I think that the Niners are going to lose against the Rams. The Rams, had an embarrassing loss against the Niners earlier in the season, but I think the Niners still get in because the Falcons beat the Saints. I don't think the Saints are a very good team at all. And I feel like at this point, the Falcons really aren't a bad team either. I feel like they're kind of on the same level as, the Saints. They'll beat the bad teams, and they'll put up a fight against the good teams. And I think that the Falcons beat the Saints. I really don't like the Saints team at all, especially because Atlanta's at home. It's not in the Superdome, so the New Orleans does not get that advantage, and they just have not been impressive. On the offensive side of the ball, Taysom Hill has been great for fantasy purposes, but that it's just not a great overall team. Maybe Sean Payton pulls some phenomenal coaching scheme out of his pocket because he's still one of the best coaches in the NFL. Just the roster is kind of depleted. And for that reason, I think the Niners are going to make the playoffs.
Who did they play last week?
The Falcons?
The Saints. They beat the Panthers.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting because that would leave the Eagles, if they beat Dallas, they'd be the 6th seed. If they lose to Dallas, they'd be the 7th seed. So that would definitely mix up a few things in your scenario, Mike. Might as well we head over to the AFC, which is 100% way more competitive. A lot of great teams are looking to get into the playoffs. We have two spots are open right now. We have the Patriots clinching one of the Patriots/Bills, I guess, clinching one of the wild card spots. And then we have 2 spots left with teams that are in contention, being the Indianapolis Colts at 9-7, the Chargers at 9-7, the Raiders at 9-7, the Steelers at 8-7-1, and the Ravens at 8-8. 4 of these teams are playing each other. That's being the Chargers Raiders, which is Sunday night, the last game, and the Steelers Ravens are playing each other on Sunday as well. We got 2 different spots, so it's definitely going to take us a little longer to get an answer out. But I'm going to start with Connor. Connor, which 2 teams do you really think are going to take these 2 spots and head over to the playoffs to play either the Bengals, Chiefs, Titans, etc.?
Indianapolis will take one of them. They're going to beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville actually has had Indianapolis' number as of late. They haven't won in Jacksonville past, I think 2014 or something like that. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Obviously, that was Jacksonville. Did Jacksonville start this year 1-0? Did they beat Indianapolis, or was that was last
No,
year?
that was last year. That was last year.
Gardner Minshew.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Indianapolis is going to make it. As far as the 7th spot, Matt, you might not like this, but I think the Raiders are going to beat the Chargers on Sunday night and make it in.
You were my Raiders guy, or I mean my Chargers guy. Was
I know. I know I was, and Justin Herbert has had another incredible year. Breaking the Chargers all-time passing touchdown record. The Raiders are playing really good football right now. Obviously Nate Hobbs got one of their corners. Got arrested. Obviously, bonehead move. I was going to say that, they've had, a step away from the drama for the past several weeks. They had a bunch of stuff going on with this team this year. Derek Carr, I mean, he's a serviceable quarterback. Josh Jacobs had a really good game on Sunday. Josh Jacobs has really had a past couple, really good games. I think the Raiders will be able to do it. Obviously the Chargers, they can win this game. The Chargers are a good team. Brandon Staley's been a really good first-year head coach. Obviously, Justin Herbert is going to be a perennial, Pro Bowl or potential MVP in this league for years. I think the Raiders do it. I think the Raiders will sneak in.
Mike, you're shaking your head.
I'm not necessarily shaking my head. It's more, interesting. I feel like Connor has been this season more bullish on the Raiders compared to us. After the Raiders got off to that nice start, I know that he was pretty bullish on them. But I got to disagree. I do think the Colts are going to win, even though they have had trouble in Jacksonville since 2014. I just think it's going to be such an easy game for Jonathan Taylor. That defense is not good. I think they're going to run right through them. And I think the Chargers are going to win. I don't think that they're going to be able to stop the Chargers offense, especially without Nate Hobbs. You know what I mean? So really the Raiders' only path to victory is, I think, running the ball with Josh Jacobs, because the Chargers do not have a good run defense. And I think that's something that Las Vegas can take advantage of. Las Vegas is fortunate that the game is in Vegas compared to LA, even though it probably didn't really matter anyways. But I think the Chargers are going to win, and it'll be the Colts and the Chargers for the 6 and 7 seed.
All right, Tommy, you heard Connor's opinion. We heard Mike's opinion. Got Raiders, got Chargers. Colts are obviously the same. What are you going to have to go with?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Mike on this one. I think Colts and Chargers are the teams that'll get in. Colts for sure, just because I don't see any way that Jacksonville beats them. Although it was a close game when they played earlier in the season. I think it was like maybe 23-17 or something like that. But, with so much at stake for the Colts, I don't see any way they lose this game. And yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Mike. I think the Chargers will beat the Raiders in this one. Will be a really good game. But, of course, my friends at ESPN help me out. They say Chargers are winning this game. So that's who we're going with. But yeah, that's who I think. I mean, for the Steelers, too much would have to go right. Obviously, the Jaguars would have to win that game. And yeah, I mean, as a Steelers fan, I'd like to see him get in, but Colts and Chargers for me.
Hey, I'm rooting for the Steelers honestly to get in. I think we saw Big Ben's last game at Heinz. Probably, I will put a probably on that. Yesterday, a little emotional. I'm not gonna lie. But it would be so hard for the Steelers to make it in. It's tough. It's really tough because I'm rooting for them all the time to make it in. Get Tomlin and Big Ben one last ride into the playoffs. But I'm gonna have to agree with you guys and go with the Colts winning here. They have an 89% chance to win this game according to 538. Not sure what your friends at ESPN say, Tommy, but
oh man,
what's ESPN say?
I don't know. Let me take a look.
All right.
Tommy looks for that, Matt. I have a question for you. So the Ravens, they fell off pretty hard here. Obviously they still have a chance to make it in. But Lamar Jackson has been playing the last several weeks, and you and I both are not very high on Lamar Jackson. We've been to say that the defense has really been the strong point for that Ravens team, and that not necessarily that if you take Lamar Jackson away, this team will still be successful, but they still have the pieces there. They've fallen apart here with Tyron Huntley running, that quarterback. The offense has still been effective, but they haven't been winning these football games. What is your take on this Ravens team? Have you changed at all where, Lamar Jackson has to be there in order for this team to win, or do they still have the pieces without him?
No, because I think their defense has literally been like injured. Though their defense is they're the most injured team in the NFL. Their defense is torn apart to shreds. I mean, Mike talked about it last week with Joe Burrow. I mean, Burrow put 525 yards on these quarterbacks. Ease. But he did put 420 against the Chiefs this week, which was great. Look later in the episode. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about Joe Burrow. But I think ultimately the Ravens have just been hurting on both sides of the ball. I don't think Huntley is really that bad of a quarterback. He really kept them in the game with the Packers. He's no Lamar Jackson. I still don't really think that highly of Lamar. Nothing's really changed for my opinion with Lamar. Nothing's really changed. I still think that
Are you saying if he's not a part of the team, they still have the pieces to win?
When they're healthy, yeah. I mean, even Lamar struggled this year too, which kind of emphasized my argument about Lamar. I mean, I think we can have a totally different conversation about it because I know Mike probably has some words. I will just like to fit in. I do think Chargers are going to win tonight's game Sunday night's game against the Raiders. I've always believed in the Chargers. We know this. I really thought the Chargers were going to be better. Justin Herbert's watching at the sidelines, watching Joe Burrow win a division, make it to the playoffs. I think he's got a little. It's going to be sitting a little with him on Sunday night, and I think he's really going to have a good game. I would expect him to have one of the best games of his season this year. I'm expecting a shootout, to be honest, like the Chiefs Chargers game that we saw Thursday night. But it all depends on the Raiders too. If they're up to the challenge, if Derek Carr is up to the challenge, I'm expecting some deep balls to Deshaun Jackson, Zay Jones to get a little deep ball action. But it's gonna be a great game. I got the Chargers winning that one. All right.
I just wanted to throw this out there. You guys just touched on the Ravens. Ravens still have a shot at the playoffs.
They do.
Here's what needs to happen. I had to write this down because there are so many different things that need to happen. First off, the Ravens obviously got to beat the Steelers. That has to happen. They're playing at the bank. That's definitely a possibility. The Raiders need to beat the Chargers. the Patriots need to beat Miami. I think both of those two things are very possible. But then the Jaguars need to beat the Colts, and I think that's where the Ravens' demise comes into play.
It sucks because like the Ravens and the Steelers need Jacksonville to win. And it's like it's Jacksonville.
And it's just really unfortunate for the Ravens because they were 8-3 and they've lost 5 games in a row. It's just been in 4 out of 5 of those games have been by one possession. All of them have been within 2 points. I mean, it's a lot of people don't like the go for 2 call or whatnot, but the Ravens, it just has not been their season in terms of luck and fortune. But it really seems to me that the Chargers and Colts are going to make it.
I mean, I honestly think if they didn't go for 2 against the Steelers, they would have won that game. The Packers,
so?
Maybe not. I think
I think the Packers is the right call. You could have an argument against the Steelers, but
it's not like the Steelers' offense is as prolific as the Packers. I don't know.
You're totally correct about that. But I still like the decision. Your destiny is in your own hands, stuff like that. But
I also
I think the Ravens are going to have the opportunity to get a lot better next year. So we'll just have to see what happens.
The Dolphins game definitely hurt them too. A lot of hurting for the Ravens, and Lamar Pro Bowler Jackson somehow didn't play up to what we know Lamar can play up to.
I mean, like in certain games this year, like against the Chiefs and especially against the Colts, that's probably I contend that's probably the best game he's ever played against the Colts, where he threw for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns and still ran the ball, led them to a comeback victory. That was also a huge win for them.
But in that Colts game, a lot of that came there in the second half. Lamar Jackson, his entire season this year has been so cold in the first half, and then he lights it lights the fire under him, and then he goes out and plays well in the second half. To be a consistent good quarterback in the NFL, that can't happen.
Yeah.
And he is still young. Obviously he's the best quarterback to come out of that 2018 draft class. We saw that last night with Baker Mayfield. We've seen it with Sam Darnold. Josh Allen can absolutely make the case.
I think Josh Allen is better.
Josh Allen can absolutely make the case. I guess I forgot Josh Allen was in the class for a second. He's just been so good in the league. But there just has to be a full-on consistency with a quarterback to succeed at your highest level. Obviously the goal in Baltimore is to go out and win a Super Bowl, and they have all the capabilities to do it, but the consistency has to be first.
Mm-hmm. And I really think that's what separates the most elite of the elite quarterbacks, like the Rodgers and the Brady, from like those second tier guys like Josh Allen, Lamar, Dak, Herbert, all those guys. So I think that's a good point you make. And I feel like when those guys really become more consistent on a game-to-game basis, because it's so hard to consistently play great in the NFL. And, we've seen it throughout all of those quarterbacks I've mentioned. So it'll be interesting to see what strides Lamar makes and, what players they get back next year. Because as Matt previously said, they've been super banged up.
I think this has been a great conversation. I think this is a good time to, cut this off. Obviously, if you have any different predictions for who's going to make it to the playoffs, drop them down in the comments. We're going to get into Go Picks next. We got a new season. Obviously, we'll unveil our winner. No real unveil needed. It was kind of a runaway show, but we'll get to that next.
Welcome back to Go Chat. We are back with the Go Picks. We're on a new season 7. Last season I did win. I defeated Tommy in the last couple games, second championship. So now it's me and Connor have 2 championships. Mike and Tommy have 1. But we'll see if they could contend for their second one. This is going to run through March. So we're going to get a lot of March Madness towards the end of it, which is fun. I know Mike loves it.
I mean, to be fair, that is how I won. I won in this season last year. You know what I mean? So, let's see if I could do it again.
All right. We got some NHL to start out. which I know you enjoy, Mike. All right, we got the Pittsburgh Penguins and the St. Louis Blues. This game's on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. on TNT. Mike, you're 2-0 with Connor. You got the tiebreaker. Who are you going to go with?
This is a tough game. These are two really good teams, two of the top 10, I'd say. But I have to roll with the Blues. The Blues have been pretty hot. They've played more games recently than Pittsburgh has. Pittsburgh is favored, but I think Blues coming off that Winter Classic W is going to get another one Wednesday night.
All right, Connor. Are you gonna try to leapfrog Mike? Or you're gonna stick with the Blues?
Not gonna leapfrog Mike on a hockey pick. I'm gonna take his word here on this one and roll with the Blues.
All right, Tommy.
See, this is tough. I've been going back and forth. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh on this one. I don't want to go against Mike, but I looked at the line and it is in favor of Pittsburgh, so I'm gonna go with them. But I will admit, disadvantage. I didn't realize, do they not do the matchup predictor on ESPN for hockey? So that does hurt me a little bit.
Your
but,
secret weapon.
Yeah, but let's go Penguins. That's my pick.
I'm gonna have to roll the Penguins too. Gonna try to make up some ground after going 0-2. Jake Gensel's back for Pittsburgh. Brian Russ is back for Pittsburgh. Evan Rodriguez has been playing fantastic. Of course, Sidney Crosby has too, and I'm expecting Tristan Jarry to be in net Wednesday. They do have a game Thursday against the Flyers, but the Blues are better, so I expect Jarry to be in net. Next game, we got college basketball, number 11, Iowa State versus number 25, Texas Tech. This game's on Wednesday, 9 p.m. ESPN. Mike, I'm going to start with you.
Texas Tech has been rolling. They've had a decent number of wins in a row, but Iowa State just lost by 5 to the best team in the nation. I think Iowa State is a really good team. I think they're going to be really good come around springtime, and I'm going to roll with them here.
All right, Connor, you're going to try to make up some ground here or stick with Mike?
Give me Texas Tech.
All right, Tommy, they do a matchup predictor for this game.
I took a look at it. I'm going to go with Iowa State. Got to roll with them in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Iowa State too. I think they're the better team. I could see it going either way, but with Iowa State's how they've been performing so far, Isaiah Brockington is playing great for them too. So I think they're going to win this game. Third game, Nuggets Jazz, NBA, Wednesday, ESPN. Matchup predictor, I'm pretty sure does this too, Tommy, for you. So there's that. Mike.
This is Denver has not been healthy all season, and they aren't getting healthy against the Jazz. Even though they're playing at home, I still gotta take Utah. They are just a really complete team.
Connor.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Jazz as well. I just like them a lot.
All right, Tommy.
Yeah, I agree. Easily the Jazz in this one.
Easily.
Yeah.
Oh, easily. Whoa, Nikola Jokic might be mad at you, Tommy.
Hey, that's okay. I got faith in the Jazz.
I'm gonna have to go with the Jazz too. I think that this is probably maybe not. I don't know. I think that this is gonna be a Jazz win. Maybe not easily, like Tommy said, but I think Jazz win this game. Last game we got Knicks Celtics, TNT, 7:30. Mike's a Celtics fan. Mike's definitely gonna go with the Celtics. Am I right?
I'm going with Boston in this matchup. Hopefully Jason Tatum is back. He has been in health and safety protocols, but even without Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown has been balling out. Without him, he's really shown that he's also a star and should not be outshined by Jason Tatum. So I'm rolling with the Celtics here. And whenever the Knicks are on national television, Julius Randle does go off, so that does kind of worry me, but I'm still taking the Celtics in this one.
Connor.
Mike held my point with Julius Randle. Kemba Walker's really kind of found his stride there late recently too. So I'm gonna go with the Knicks.
Tommy, are you going with the Knicks? ESPN matchup predictor says the Knicks.
I know they do, but I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna go with the team that has a 49% chance. Let's go Boston Celtics. Yeah, I gotta agree. I mean, I just think they're the better team. They both have losing records, so it's a little bit tough, but Gonna go with Boston this one.
Yeah, talk about those losing records. I mean, I expected a lot more from both these teams. Hasn't been the case. That's okay. I hate both of them. I'm gonna have to go with the Celtics. Jeremy Goldstein always complains about the Knicks, so I'm not gonna pick them.
Jeremy
here.
Goldstein complains about everything. I don't care.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to go with the Celtics. I think they're a better team, and Jaylen Brown has been balling out quite literally. That's gonna wrap up Go Picks. That's gonna wrap up Go Picks. We got Go to the Week coming up next. That's gonna be a great one because there's 4 different people for this, not like Go to the State. We will be right back. Welcome back to Go Chat. We are back with the Go of the Week. Look at the leaderboard. I notched my 30th win, guys. 30th. I mean, aren't you guys excited? It's a nice benchmark for me.
You're killing us.
Excited.
30th win with Joe Burrow. Great voting. Thank you, Connor. Josh Allen almost won too, which is kind of shocking. But we got a totally different slate of Go of the Week. Tommy is currently sitting in 4th place. Maybe he can make up a couple ground. Tommy, who are you gonna go with here?
I'm going to go with TJ Watt in this one. He was a big part of the Steelers' win against the Browns on Monday night. And he had 4 sacks, and now he's 1 sack away from Michael Strahan's single season record. So, and also, by the way, that was TJ's career high with 4 sacks in a game. So, great performance, big reason why they were able to stay in the playoff hunt, as we mentioned earlier. Probably not going to be able to get it done with the way that the schedule works out, but he played very well in a big game. So gotta go with TJ Watt.
He's 1.5 sacks away, just for clarity.
1.5. Oh, okay.
I think he's gonna get it. I mean, Alejandro Villanueva was terrible.
All right. Who should I go with next? Connor, you're up to bat. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with the receiver who broke the bowl game record for yards in a game in college football during a bowl game. Obviously, no Chris Olave, no what is his other name? What's the other name?
Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson.
Oh my God! This Ohio State fan doesn't even know his own team.
For a second I was thinking Marvin Harrison, but he actually played and also had 3 touchdowns. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison went to Syracuse.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, Jackson Smith and Jigba with 15 catches on 16 targets in the Rose Bowl game for 347 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was so good. And no discredit to CJ Stroud at all. Where he put some of those footballs in the perfect positions for them to be caught was absolutely incredible. This was a great bowl game to watch. I mean, if you guys didn't watch this game, you really missed out on a great one. Ohio State was down by 14 points, I think, like 3 different times in the game. Found a way to get back into it. Really a complete shootout. In the second quarter, I think there was like 42 points scored in the span of like 4 minutes. So it was such an incredible game. Jackson Smith and Jigba, again, 15 catches, 347 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase-like numbers here on the college football slate. So Jackson Smith and Jigba, go to the week.
Oh, God, what are you trying to help Mike over here?
You just set me up perfectly, Connor, because my go of the week is Jamar Chase. He just broke the rookie receiving record. And I don't want to hear anything that's, you have an extra game because he did it in 16 games. He broke Justin Jefferson's record, and he also broke the single game receiving record for a rookie, 266 yards, along with 3 touchdowns. He has been phenomenal this season. He's had, these huge games, but this is by far the best game of his season against, it's not a must-win game, but it's a huge, huge, huge win for Cincinnati. They really came out and showed that they are a playoff contender, and in large part due to Jamar Chase and his explosiveness. I mean, I could go on and on for hours about Jamar Chase and how much he's helped transform this Bengals offense, but it's 100% Jamar Chase here.
Jamar Chase actually helped me win the Goat Chat Fantasy Football League over my partner here, Matt. Obviously, Matt went in with like a what was it, a 12-2 record. I came in at
Oh, I only lost once, Connor. That was my second loss the whole year. I'm pretty sure they were both to you too.
That's sad. That is so sad, Matt. But go chat.
He
champion.
also lost me out on $160 or something too. I'm not happy about Jamar. I love the guy, but I'm not happy.
Go chat champion right here. Had another fantasy football championship. This week was great for me. I stayed at last place. Stayed at last place in a few leagues too. I mean, great week of fantasy football. Go
All right,
ahead.
Matt, who's your goal of the week?
Well, I came in second place for 2 fantasy leagues. I'm probably gonna win out of 2 other fantasy leagues, so I guess that balances it out. But pretty upset after Jamar Chase's victory over there in Cincinnati. But I was very happy about another guy, a guy who really led the Cincinnati Bengals to their first division title since 2012, and that man is Joe Burrow. We'll talk about a great game from him. You could talk all you want about Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase had a fantastic game, breaking all those records. Great. Joe Burrow was throwing him the ball, and he was a gunslinger today. 30 for 39, 446 yards, 4 touchdowns. And you talk about those deep, passer rating 148, and you talk about those deep balls. Joe's just been doing it. He's been doing it, and he's my go of the week. Maybe make it 2 weeks in a row. A little Buddy Boeheim action.
Matt really loves double dipping. He's done it multiple times.
Dude, I'm sorry. I had to. I mean, he just went out, beat the Kansas City Chiefs, who I think are the best team in the AFC, and really just did it well. I mean, he's went through a thumb injury this past year. He's had a knee injury towards the end of the game. It's just he's playing phenomenal. I'm really thinking highly of this guy, Joe Burrow. We saw the post game with the cigars, doing that little whatever the other dance is called, when they're like this. What's it called again? Anyone know? I feel like Tommy does this.
You're talking about.
I feel like Tommy does this, on TikTok
Man.
and just saves it in his drafts.
No, I'm not a TikTok guy.
Oh, Tommy's definitely a TikToker, but you're talking about the deep balls, right? But Joe Burrow's longest throw of the game went to Jamar Chase, who took a slant to the house, made like 5 other people miss, and outran the whole Chiefs team. I mean, he has wheels, dude. Like, it's honestly like we all thought highly of Jamar Chase, and a lot of us thought that it was the wrong pick for Cincinnati, but it could not have been a better pick for Cincinnati, and that connection has been awesome all season.
I just want to make a disclaimer here before we get back into
I know what the dance is called, but go ahead. I know what the dance is called.
Before you guys get back into arguing, I'm not even going to mention go to the week. You mentioned Kansas City is the best team in the AFC. In your opinion, this might be the first year in a really long time when you can look at the teams in the playoffs and not know who's going to be in the Super Bowl. And I think it's going to make for such an exciting, playoff atmosphere. Matt, you and I are going to be out there in LA, working out there towards the Super Bowl there towards the middle of February. So it's going to be so exciting just to watch this playoff football here this year.
All right. So the dance is get the gat, it says get the gag, get the gag. Yeah, that's what the dance is it's called, I guess. But yeah, like you said, Connor, it's going to be really exciting to see. And I honestly open your ears for this one. I think the Bengals have a very good chance to make it to the Super Bowl. I actually think they do. I think they got an explosive offense. Their defense is just Trey Hendrickson. I honestly think it's going to be the Bengals, Bills, or the Chiefs in the Final Four, and one of those teams are really going to compete.
Well, the Final Four, you named 3.
3. Yeah, I don't know. Whoever's the
Final Four meaning AFC, 2 AFC, 2 NFC.
No, he's saying Final Four.
I meant like the Final Four in the AFC. It's either going to be. I could care less about that 4th team. That 4th team's just irrelevant. Whoever that is.
No. Hold on.
We're holding.
If Derrick Henry comes back healthy, the Titans are going to be a force. They still have been, they've been competitive without him. But we know
it just sucks. Go ahead.
Their defense has been better than advertised. But they've been playing better than the talent on the roster. And I think that's due in large part to their coaching and Mike Vrabel. But I do think that they have a shot at the Super Bowl if Derrick Henry comes back healthy.
Well, I think this is a great spot to end GOAT chat for this week. Jackson Smith and Jigba should be your GOAT. But I think this is a great way to end this. Episode 115. It's always a pleasure to hop on with you guys. Mike's coughing through my outro. That's fantastic. Matt's dancing.
Like radio all over again.
Tommy's the only normal one on this show.
Tommy's chilling.
Well,
It's always a pleasure to come on, talk sports. As always, hit that subscribe button, follow Instagram, everywhere where you get your Mike.
Jamar Chase, go to the week.
No.
Book
This is
it.
terrible. We're gonna
Book
just
it.
outro
Book it.
music.
Joe Burrow,
Music.
Joe Burrow, baby. Give the
Great
gang, give the gang, give the
episode. Hit the music.